All right, we're at the home of Christy Blust. She called us out for some siding work, and we're getting to the video just in time here because it looks like we're losing light. So, not a major scope of work, but a lot of little intricate things that we want to make sure are done right and included, so the whole home looks like it was worked on, not just pieces of it, which would be a very bad outcome to spend some money on the house and feel like you only did half of it. So we really have a kind of a comprehensive approach here to include a lot of areas that need to be addressed for this to look like it was done completely. So in most cases, probably 99.9% of the job, we're doing an overlay. Soffit is fine. There's nothing needed on the soffit except for paint. The fascia, however, has quite a few areas of rot, mainly on the corners, that need to be addressed and repaired before we do the fascia overlay. And a fascia overlay is highly recommended on the house because, like I said, it's aside from some of the rotting at the bottom of the siding, the fascia is probably the next biggest culprit here as far as needing to be worked on. So full overlay, all exterior trim around windows, doors, corners, gable vents, all of that's going to be Hardie 1x4. The roof is new, so we're not going to mess with the drip cap or the drip edge. We're just doing a fascia overlay up to that drip edge, and we'll caulk and seal it there. It'll overhang the existing fascia on the bottom by about a ½ inch, and that will be caulked and sealed tightly back there. So these outriggers, so we have 3 little outriggers up here. They're completely rotted. So what we're going to do is basically we're going to cut these off, get rid of kind of the scrolly stuff. We're going to cut them off basically at an angle from tip straight back, somewhere around where that scroll ends. Cut them off at an angle, a diagonal angle. And then we're going to wrap those in Hardie back to the beam right here. Okay, and then we're going to do that on all 3 of them. And then basically encase those in Hardie plank, and then this big beam across here, the big 4x12 all the way across here, that's going to be wrapped in Hardie. And then this little 4x4, and then this outrigger, since it goes all the way back to the house, this entire outrigger here will be wrapped and encased in Hardie. Same thing on all 3. They're going to be lopped off and angle cut back to the house, and then wrapped in Hardie. But this beam here, where the others will stop at the facade here, at the 4x12, this beam up top will go all the way back to the house. As you can see there, like I said, it's getting kind of hard with the light, but that whole beam will be wrapped. Now these little guys here, so we have this one and we have this one over here. We're going to do the same thing. So we'll just angle cut those, and then that will be faced in Hardie plank as well. Okay, and that way everything will look consistent and will look like I said, it looks like somebody put some thought into it. These spindles here, we got 2 spindles there and 2 spindles there. We talked about wrapping them, but decided not to go that route, so we're just going to paint them whatever color the house would be painted. But all this porch ceiling, all the soffit is all going to be painted. The door, it's just a 1x2 around the door, so we can actually do that 1x2 in Hardie plank. We're not going to paint the door obviously because it's stained, but the 1x2 trim around the door, we can replicate that with a Hardie. So that trim around the door will be replaced as well. Just the one little area over here. So we talked about it, this trim will go away. So the little rectangular trim molding will go away, and that will just be siding underneath here, underneath this window. And again, this is what most corners look like, if you can see that. So pretty much, I think I have 5 corners that are going to be repaired before we fascia overlay. That's all what they pretty much look like. It's nothing significant in terms of extending back 4 or 5 feet. It's just the corner, but the corners are, you can tell they've been wood puttied in, and they need to be repaired, and then put our fascia on there, and we'll never have that problem again. A couple gables. So the gable here will be done. Again, a great candidate for overlay, and that gable vent would be wrapped in Hardie 1x4. We will need to get behind this electrical box, so we will have to move that somewhat. We actually might be able to get back there. Yeah. So that support the cross member will have to come off, but it looks like we have 3 inches back behind there, so we should be able to work with that and not have to remove the electrical box from the house. Again, just major soffit here. The soffit varies from 2 to 2.9, 2 foot 9 inches in most places. So all that, of course, is going to be painted. But again, I didn't see any really underlying issues with the soffit that say, hey, we should even consider soffit with Hardie. A good paint job on that soffit's going to give her, what she's looking for, which is about a 10 to 15 year. We have 2 windows here that need to be wrapped in Hardie 1x4. We have a little rake up there. That will be done in siding as well. We have a storm door. We're going to look at some storm door options, but this storm door is pretty shot. So we'll look at obviously taking that storm door off and then potentially replacing it with some options that we'll go over here when we sit down. But all this rot down here that you can see along the bottom of the door, that's all going to be cut out and will be replaced with an equal thickness substrate. So on all this, even if we don't do a full tear off, all the siding is going to get the Hardie wrap. And then, of course, any areas that are rotted will be replaced, like you see there around the door. That will all be replaced before we put the Hardie plank over it. I'm going to paint the garage doors and then wrap the garage door frames in Hardie. And then again, back here, you can see nice and flush. There's no big swelling or bowing on the wall. So again, a really good candidate for overlay. All the stuff at the bottom is just cosmetic, weed whacker type stuff from it being, hit with the weed whacker, pretty normal. These little garage vents will be wrapped in, actually we probably should throw some new ones on there. This one's half chicken wire. So we'll throw some new vents on there and then wrap those vents in Hardie 1x2. And then coming over to the last side, got a lot of soffit and fascia, and that's pretty much it. We got one gable down here. Windows are in brick, and then one little gable here. That the gable vent, again, good candidate for overlay, and the gable vent would be wrapped in Hardie 1x4. All the gable vents are fine, no need to replace those. All the soffit is in good condition relatively, so a good paint job would take care of that, and put a nice protective coat on there for as long as Christy will need it. So that's pretty much our scope of work. We're kind of undecided yet as to vertical or horizontal, so we're going to look at the pricing differential on both, with of course the waste factor involved, but we'll make a decision on that. But as of right now, that's undecided because I had to try to squeeze this video in before it gets dark. But that's what we got. Pretty straightforward scope of work, but again, looking at a comprehensive solution, not just halfway, and then every time she drives home she's upset because only half the house is done. So this is going to give an entire comprehensive exterior solution, and we'll make sure that there's no parts of the home that need to be addressed down the road. This is pretty much going to take care of everything in one swoop. So Christy, thanks so much for having me out. Look forward to sitting down with you right now, and look forward to the opportunity to help you out. Thank you.